All right, this first one is the real reason why the Airbnb market has collapsed in 2025.
Airbnb's downfall is quite simple, actually. It's because y'all deviated from y'all original business model, which was to be cheaper and more convenient than hotels. At first, you guys were, but now you just aren't.
Wait a minute, is Airbnb still not cheaper than, what was it, cheaper than hotels and what?
Yeah, cheaper than hotels, as I said.
It is if you're in a big group still, don't you think? For sure, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, like, you think about a hotel is, what, you get 1 or 2 beds,
Yeah.
and then now you're paying out for every meal
Everything.
when you go.
All the
Airbnb, our guests, they go to Walmart, or they're going to the grocery store, they're getting a bottle of liquor, they're getting all their groceries. That alone right there is probably saving a single group $1,000.
Pretty sure, I mean, the original business model for Airbnb was quite literally an air mattress in a living room.
Or sleep on a sofa.
It was like rent anything was like the original business, was compete with hotels so much, but it still does if you do it right. Yeah, turning guests into giving them chores. I actually want to eliminate that from our
We have, right?
It already has.
We're a super host on Airbnb. We have all the accolades you can imagine. We have a great social media following. So I'm thinking, if I'm struggling to fill my cabin, I know there are others. So then I'm also asking, like, why? What's going on? And then I'm thinking, as a host,
Okay,
what
got
can I
it.
do to even
I know, like, okay, so what worked 5 years ago is not working.
Like
This
this
is the
Airbnb updates every
classic,
year.
the classic, like, I had a great place in 2020 and now it's not booking. Well, girlfriend, I don't know. There's probably 3 times more competitors on there.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're offering better things than you are.
She probably, honestly, with Airbnb and their big change over the last year and their summer update in 2025, a firm cancellation policy is it's a negative. It is not just like
It's a death knell.
anymore. It is like if you have a firm cancellation policy, you drop 5 pages.
So really what she needs to do is call us so we can fix all that for her. She's probably a great operator and has great reviews. She just doesn't know, she just hasn't kept up with the tech changes and the competitive landscape changes.
Yeah, guaranteed. This is our ideal revenue management customer.
Yes, we can help you. Call us.
Even more to fill up my cabin. You know, the economy, like eggs, for example, are out of this world right now. Or just people not traveling.
You can get into a nice hotel for $200 a day, and that's what a house costs 5 people.
And
Or
split that
10
cost.
people.
A lot more people can fit into the house compared, and depending where you are too. I mean, $200 for a nice hotel, market matters, both for the Airbnb cost and for the hotel cost.
I mean, his perspective is completely the consumer perspective, but he also has that viewpoint of like a single individual.
Yeah.
And that is not what our home caters to.
Yeah.
Our home doesn't cater.
I mean, that's the key difference, right? Like if you have less than 3 bedrooms, you're for sure competing with hotels and you're probably more expensive. You have to be if you want to make money, right? Once you get past 3 bedrooms is like the gray area where it's like you might be competing with hotels, but past 3 bedrooms, you're not, right? You're serving a different demographic. How guests left our Airbnb after 2 nights.
Okay, trash.
Ooh, that's trash. They don't know how to stop party. We stopped a party Saturday night.
Noise reports, sound machines, kick them out.
Yeah, this is not, okay, so like we literally had, guys, we had a party down the street from here on Ann Avenue, last Saturday, we had a party. Neighbor called it in to us. Our team shut it down in under an hour. The noise stopped immediately and everyone left the property and nothing was damaged.
Quick response.
Airbnb guests?
Yeah, because we have, what do we have? We have noise monitors. We make sure our neighbors can get a hold of us.
Relationships with neighbors.
Security cameras.
And we have a process for getting guests to shut it down too. That worked, right? Like there's like a 6-step process for our front desk to follow that ultimately ends in calling we'll literally call the police on the guest within 20 minutes. When we first get the complaint, if it's not resolved with the guest within 20 minutes, we're literally calling the cops.
Not to mention, this is exactly the same situation, or the perfect situation that the Airbnb Resolution Center is for. It's for if you have problems, you incur extra charges because of a bad guest.
Oh yeah.
You know, we had that happen once a couple years ago, and a house got damaged with $40,000 worth of damage. What happened? It was a little bit of a long process. It was inconvenient. We had to cancel some reservations, but Airbnb ultimately paid out the entire damage claim of $40,000.
It was over 40,
It
yeah.
was like 43 and some change.
Yeah, and that everything was recouped.
Well, but I think also here too, you know, obviously I don't know the full context of what did or didn't happen during this stay, but the things that I'm seeing, like this is one thing, it's the host drama. Like, is it
I was
really a
gonna note
problem?
that too. Yeah.
Like, sure, if there was a party and it was disruptive to neighbors and noise and all that, great. But like, so far what I'm seeing in this video,
Oh yeah, it doesn't even look that bad.
No, it's
Yeah.
like a small apartment. Okay, how many dishes did you
use
actually
the
have?
dishes?
Do you?
Fine.
Okay, but they have them all in the sink. Were they dispersed all across the entire
Trash was all in
house?
the right
It was
spot.
all in the right spot.
I'm hosting a property with the expectation it's going to get used.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with your home being used, you should not be in this business.
Well, and if you're having multiple parties, like you're regularly having guests come party at your house and trash the place, Airbnb is not the problem. You are.
Yeah.
You have no safeguards, and so you're just being taken advantage of because you have no safeguards.
Absolutely.
I just kicked out my Airbnb guests for the first time ever, no refund, and immediately made them leave the property. I am kicking myself for giving a one-night stay because we never do that. We're coming in from out of town, needed a place to stay overnight. They agreed to paying the $225 cleaning fee and a couple $100 to stay overnight. We had a 4-day break. It's a Sunday. What's the worst that can happen? Get a ring notification, and I see this over my cameras. I've never had this happen before where guests wanted to take whatever, the cloth or whatever this is, put it on the exterior cameras, which are facing the driveway and facing the front porch only. Have disclosed that we do have outdoor cameras. There shouldn't be a surprise there. I'm also kicking the fact that I do not state this explicitly in my renter agreement. You guys can see here, I do say that I can
we say that in our
literally
agreement,
kick you
right?
out at any time
That
if
was
they
good.
violate any terms of this agreement. I did quote number 7. The guest should be using my property in utmost integrity to make a guest ready for the next people. And this is not doing that. I brought this to the guest's attention that we do not allow this. Get your covering off my camera. And he said he did. And then I see this moments later. Messing with my internet. I even let the guests check in early, told them that they have to leave immediately, but I have no way to know if they actually have. So I think what I'm gonna do is just call the sheriff tonight, do a wellness check on my property to make sure they left, but I'm honestly a little afraid that any retaliation, I don't know. We've never also had any guests stay a long period. It's a short-term rental
that's
place,
shady
but
for
covering the
sure.
cameras,
Someone's unplugging
one-night
your cameras,
stays,
I'm
my
kicking
head's
them
going
out.
a million miles an hour.
Yeah,
When I
they're
have an
gone.
update,
Yeah.
I will give one.
I mean, that's shady for sure. Someone's unplugging your cameras. I'm kicking them out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they're gone. Well, yeah, we're making everyone pay a security deposit with an actual credit card that we verify is real. So that right there scares a lot of people off.
Oh, you're gonna charge me?
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
I will.
Yeah, I'll charge you if the place is damaged. But that situation, anyone, I don't care if they're staying 1 night or 20. Like if you unplug my cameras,
Bye.
yeah.
Which is
bye.
also a violation in our rental agreement,
Yeah.
by the way, and our house rules.
Yeah, tampering with the cameras. Yeah.
I quit Airbnb Arbitrage, and here's exactly why. I've made a lot of videos on this.
Airbnb arbitrage. Yeah, already you're losing money is why. Next. Stupid way to do it. All right. We'll hear them out.
I now am focusing on buying houses.
There you go.
Because that's the end goal. Just to give you guys a reminder.
Yeah, agreed.
Started off Airbnb management, then got into Airbnb Arbitrage, then I got into buying Airbnbs.
We did
I'm
the
still doing
reverse.
Airbnb. I'm still using all
We
the
still haven't
tactics
touched
of running and
arbitrage.
operating a short-term rental, but now I'm doing it on assets that I own because that is the end goal. What is the point of having all the cash flow in the world and having $1 million in the bank account if you don't own any assets? Okay, because cash
you-
is useless without
Did you
putting
have $1
it to
million
work.
in your bank account?
Why would I have
First of all, if I
all
was
the
doing
money in the world
arbitrage
if
and I had
can't
$1 million
pass it
bucks
down
in the
to a
bank, I wouldn't
generation,
quit.
if I can't give it to my
I just
my
don't know
mother,
anyone
my
that's
father,
done
my
that.
kids, my cousin, my brothers, my future wife, what is the point? So equity and ownership is the end goal. Okay, tax benefits, really, really important. You only get it from owning assets. So
True.
quick reminder to everyone here,
Sounds like
Airbnb
maybe
arbitrage is not a long-term solution, okay? Use those skills of building a foundational Airbnb business,
Yeah.
of managing cleaners, managing
But did you-
teams,
but did you have $1
managing
million
the
in your
property,
bank account,
and
though?
take
Like,
that
did
cash
that really
flow
happen,
and
though?
start buying houses, and that is how
I'm
you
stuck
will
on
build
that.
true wealth.
I'm stuck on
Hope that
that.
helps.
Well, what are we doing about that, right? Because this is obviously the most current topic. Airbnb raised their fees for hosts, eliminated them for guests, which is in line with what hotels are doing, which Airbnb, even if like our model doesn't compete against hotels, Airbnb does. When we first started, they were more host-centric than they are guest-centric, and now they're more guest-centric than they are host-centric, in my opinion. They shift to being more guest-centric than homeowner and house-centric, right? So, because you have to be successful in this business at the end of the day, right? You gotta get 5-star reviews. So,
So going back to your initial question,
what are we doing about
what are you doing about it?
Yeah.
We charge the highest amount every night we can, no matter what,
The
regardless of
correct
what your fee
answer.
structure
The
is.
correct answer is nothing different.
Yeah.
Because ultimately we have occupancy targets. When a house becomes overoccupied, we raise rates. When a house becomes underoccupied, we lower rates. And rather than trying to mythically add an extra 10 or 15% without
Well, it'd be even higher than that if we were trying to.
Yeah, we
increase by
respond to
20%.
metrics and market demand.
Not much has changed. The reality is everyone was affected the same.
Correct.
So like our model, our pricing model already, which we use price slabs, but we use it in our own way. We don't use the default settings, right? And so our settings are all ready to adjust pricing based on demand and in response to pricing changes with our competitors, right? So like all of our competitors raised rates 15%, so we by default probably did.
But not because it was an intentional decision to raise rates, because we're doing the same thing that we're always doing.
I mean, just in this month right now, looking at November, year over year, we are up like across most of our listings in most markets. Our properties that have year over year data, our RevPAR, our revenue per available night, is up pretty significantly. So it looks like we did raise prices.
Well, adjustments.
Yeah, just based on that.